Who built a throne in Delhi out of fear, faith, and paperwork? Who kept it breathing when every road brought a new enemy? Listen, the archive exhales, and the city answers with dust and bells. From the 11th to the 16th century, the Delhi Sultanate is not one smooth empire. It is a living engine that keeps restarting itself. Dynasties change, faces vanish, banners fall, yet the idea stays, a hard center that refuses to disappear. My thesis is this: Delhi survives when conquest becomes a habit of administration, and it collapses when distance and distrust break that habit. It begins in the shadow, before the spotlight. The Ghaznavids shake the old frontiers and leave behind routes, coins, and a taste for new courtly power. Then the Ghurids push deeper and learn the crucial trick. To hold land, you must plant commanders, fortresses, and schedules, not just riders. In 1206, Qutb al-Din Aibak steps into that momentum and turns a battlefield inheritance into a throne that must look permanent. Iltutmish follows and makes Delhi legible. He stabilizes authority, shapes offices, and forces recognition, so the center is not just strong, but acknowledged. Balban hardens the court into discipline and ceremony, so fear becomes ordered, and the ruler feels inevitable. The Khaljis arrive, and the pace sharpens, and Alauddin turns expansion into pressure, pushing south while tightening the city's grip on supply. The Tughlaqs inherit a wider map and a heavier cost, and Muhammad bin Tughlaq reaches for speed and total control until the land itself resists him. Firoz Shah turns toward repair, canals, endowments, routine, as if the state must be healed, not only driven. Later, the Sayyids and Lodis keep the crown alive through bargains and quick force, while provinces learn to stand alone. And then, in 1526, Babur defeats the last Lodi at Panipat, and Delhi changes hands again, but it does not lose its meaning. The Sultanate ends as a dynasty, it remains as a method. First, the military spine, Delhi rules with cavalry, forts, and commanders trained to move before panic spreads. Its officers are tied to land revenues through the Iktis system, so service has a price and loyalty has a ledger. The mechanism is ruthless but clear. Assign income to duty, make command measurable, punish rebellion fast, reward obedience faster. The effect is speed, armies raised without weeks of debate, garrisons fed, roads guarded, and revolts cut down before they become stories. The result is a capital that can act like a fist, even across long distances. Second, the fiscal engine. Delhi learns that war is paid for long before the first arrow. In grain, in silver, in market confidence. Alauddin, especially, treats the bazaar like a battlefield, tightening price controls and oversight to keep supplies stable in wartime. Across reigns, surveys, assessments, and records make villages readable to the state, line by line, season by season. Coinage becomes more than money. It becomes a moving signature of authority, traveling where soldiers cannot stand forever. The mechanism is control of circulation. The effect is steadier provisioning, steadier pay, and the ability to keep campaigning without starving the center. The result is expansion that can survive winter, drought, and revolt, at least for a time. Third, the struggle for legitimacy. Force can seize a city, but only meaning can keep it. Delhi speaks through the khutbah, through titles, through law, through a court culture that tells the world what order looks like. Persianate administration shapes the elite language of power, while scholars and judges give rule a frame of justice and continuity. Sufi networks spread influence in quieter ways, stitching countryside and city together through devotion, patronage, and trust. Architecture turns policy into skyline, minarets and mosques that say, without words, the center is here and it intends to last. The mechanism is coalition. Balance factions, distribute favor, and keep no single bloc strong enough to swallow the state. The effect is stability that can outlive a ruler's personality. The result is a throne that can be rebuilt after crises, like a fire relit from embers. But every strength brings its own shadow, and this is where the archive gets honest. Frontiers never rest, and constant war drains the treasury and the body of the state. Distance breeds ambition, governors grow bold, and loyalty becomes negotiable when Delhi feels far away. Taxes can cut too deep, and villages slip into silence, and the state becomes blind at the roots. Succession turns violent, court politics turns poisonous, and the center begins to spend its energy on itself instead of on the world. Meanwhile, provinces learn confidence: Bengal, Gujarat, Malwa, the Deccan, each building its own rhythm of power. Delhi's methods are copied, and that is the cruel proof of its success. What it invented becomes the toolkit of its rivals. And still, the Sultanate's long echo remains. It taught the plain the habit of central rule, the habit of paperwork, the habit of armies that do not vanish after victory. It left roads, forts, revenue routines, and a political imagination. Where Delhi can be more than a city, it can be a command post for a continent. When the Mughals rise, they do not step into emptiness. They step onto a stage already built, and they widen it. So the Delhi Sultanate is not only a chapter that ends, it is a spine inside later empires, a memory that keeps standing even after the names fall away. If you want to hear the stones speak with me, stay close. In the next part, we follow the turning point, and then we close the archive in silence. But like every giant mechanism, Delhi begins to crush under its own weight. The treachery of distance brings oblivion. Muhammad bin Tughlaq's dreams crash into the reality of the land. The capital is moved, the treasury empties, and the map fragments. In the south, the Bahmani rise. In the east, Bengal raises its own voice. Delhi is no longer an empire, it is a besieged fortress. In 1398, the archives fall silent in terror. When Timur's horsemen enter the city, the delicate order built by the Sultanate dissolves into dust and smoke. But even as buildings crumble, the habit of administration does not vanish. The Sayyids and Lodis guard the last fragments of the state upon these ruins. They are not conquerors, they are merely sentinels trying to hold back time. Finally, 1526, Panipat. The scent of gunpowder announces the end of the old world. Babur arrives, and he does not rediscover Delhi. He adopts the rusty yet functional mechanism the Sultanate built. The archive exhales for the last time, and silence falls. The Sultanate does not end, it simply becomes the soul of a larger empire, the Mughals. The dust settles, the bells stop, history now speaks in a different tongue. The Delhi chapter ends, but the story of empires continues. Next, we turn to the Ottoman Empire.